everybody. I'm Drea with Brook Productions, and I'm here to tell you about the morning of January 17th. That was the morning of the earthquake. I guess what I remember most, it happened at 4:30 in the morning, and I remember that
you were here working, right?
I was here working. I was editing at the time, and
night shift,
yes,
right?
the night shift, the graveyard. But I think the most scary part about it was that the electricity went off right away, and it was pitch black in this room, and I couldn't see anything, so I just immediately ran to the door frame and stood under there until I could find the flashlight and go and check on Sandy and Barry, who were upstairs. But there was a lot of crashing and banging, and the noise factor was very intense and very frightening. I was worried about the equipment, but we discovered that the monitors and the editing machines just stayed on their bin, and I think it's because it was on rollers, so it moved with the movement of the earthquake instead of falling off. And several of the friends of Sandy's said their equipment was damaged, and I think it was because they were on stationary shelves.
All of them.
All of them. All of her friends had problems with their equipment. One of the things that I felt right at the moment was I thought the whole entire house was going to fall down. That's how hard the jolts were. It was a much more intense and strong earthquake.
For the people that don't know, tell them you're in the basement.
Oh, and I'm in the basement down here. This is the bottom floor, and there are actual bars on the window, so there's no real quick way out if something did happen. We discovered that there was a release on the garage door, so if there's a plan that you can develop for your editing business, for your employees, for an earthquake situation like this, that would be a good idea. But we just developed that a little too late. So
what about the condition of all the tapes?
Basically, our equipment, as far as the machines themselves and the cameras, were okay. We had all of these tapes, as you can see on the back wall. All of these tapes were down on the floor and all over the room.
How many jobs is this from?
That's about 50 jobs right there. We had about 65 at the time, and I was just amazed that none of the tapes cracked or chipped or anything like that, because they fell out of their plastic covers as well. So that was one thing that we were very lucky, because these have not been edited yet. So we didn't have the edit masters either.
And all the pictures.
All the pictures and everything
All that. What did
were
you
all
do to-
strewn over the place, and we just figured out which ones went to which jobs and everything. We were able to find everything. I was amazed at that. So that was
You did.
I did, actually.
But no sleep.
But we did have some damage to our CDs and tapes, because they just did not fare well at all. They were thrown way across the room and cracked, and all the cases were split apart. So that's the one thing that we did have a lot of damage. If there are any suggestions that I could say, it would be to somehow secure your tapes and your CDs, as well as your videotapes, somehow, so they don't fly off. If there's a shelving that you can arrange so that you can protect that, or just tape them into their plastic covers or something like that, that might be a good idea. When I got upstairs to find Sandy and Barry after finding a flashlight down here, I actually had a flashlight right beside the machines, which is a really good thing to have, because I knew exactly where it was. I couldn't go upstairs for a while because there were objects coming down the stairs. I could just tell from the noise, and I couldn't see what I was stepping over and hear. So I waited long enough where I could go up and check on them. And we finally got everybody outside, and we stood outside until it was okay to come back in. Until it was light, and we could see something. And
what we saw.
yeah, what we saw, I literally thought Sandy was going to be out of business for about a week, because it was so bad upstairs. I mean, furniture and cracked lights and everything. So I was really amazed that I came back to work that next night and everything was back in business as usual. That's Sandy for you. And us, we're a team. Yes, and it was really great having Barry here too, because that was a lot of Barry is Sandy's brother, and he was very helpful in this event. The other thing, I think the worst part for me, I don't know, Barry and Sandy and I also talked about this, but the worst part was the second night here, because after going through something like that, your emotions realize at that time what you had been through for the big one. So the aftershocks were a little hard the next night, and we couldn't concentrate very well on editing. Took about 3 days before I could just get used to the fact of all the aftershocks. But other than that, I think everything is fine now. Hopefully we can prepare ourselves a little better for the next time. It was very scary, I'll have to say. But we managed.
We're here to talk about it today.
And we are alive and well and have our cameras and our editing machines, and I think we're very lucky.
That's it.
Yep.
Fading down.
Bye.